A Chinese student studying in Japan, Kexin, recently shared her experience on Xiaohongshu about receiving medical subsidies while hospitalized in Japan. She claimed she only had to pay 4% of the total cost, while the Japanese government covered the remaining 13 million yen, roughly 600,000 yuan. However, after being discharged, instead of showing gratitude, she insulted Japan. She also posted a picture detailing the breakdown of her hospital expenses. Kexin allegedly took advantage of loopholes in Japan's medical subsidy system to obtain yen fraudulently. After returning to China, she mocked Japan online, which sparked a major controversy among Japanese media and netizens. The post garnered millions of views, and many Japanese people are now calling for an investigation into foreigners who exploit Japan's welfare system. Some Japanese netizens also revealed that Kexin graduated from Fudan University in June 2023 and then went to Japan for further studies. Her actions angered not only Japanese netizens, but also many in China. People criticized her behavior, leaving comments like, "Her parents are probably with the Communist Party, which is why she got the chance to study in Japan and enjoy these benefits. But from start to finish, she only shows gratitude to the party." The Japanese government should learn from President Trump and expel anyone who is hostile to Japan. Traditional Chinese values of respect and integrity have been lost. If you benefit from a system, you should be grateful. Acting like this only ruins opportunities for other students. There are too many people like this now, enjoying benefits abroad while pretending to be patriotic at home. Someone this ungrateful is a disgrace no matter where they are. Their bad nature has nothing to do with patriotism. In recent years, China's economy has been in decline, and many middle-class families have seen their wealth shrink. This has led to a growing crisis where some Chinese students can no longer afford to continue studying abroad. Since last year, the topic of funding for studying abroad being cut off had 9.9 million views on social media. Many students have been forced to take up part-time jobs, working as cafe servers, delivery couriers, and in some extreme cases, even resorting to prostitution. On December 21, 2024, a video surfaced on X showing a Chinese businessman in Japan who booked 2 escorts at his hotel, expecting them to be Japanese. However, when they arrived, he realized they were actually Chinese female students. This led to an argument, with the man accusing them of deception and overcharging. The video sparked a heated discussion, with 845 people commenting. Some mocked the situation, saying, "The plot twist is unbelievable. Even overseas, you still run into fake and low-quality goods. It's like living in a global drama about defective products." The chaos among Chinese students abroad has shocked many. Even Chinese state media, China Youth Daily, published an article titled, "The Shocking Mess of Today's Chinese Students Abroad." The report highlighted disturbing cases in Tokyo's Shinjuku red light district, where Chinese male students were working as pimps, female students were soliciting clients on the streets, and internet cafes were packed with Chinese students gambling and shouting in vulgar language. Some female students even openly posted prices for one-night services, along with explicit WeChat photos. Some Chinese students from average income families are drawn to the nightlife and lavish lifestyle while studying abroad. Since their family funds can't support such high expenses, some end up taking the wrong path. Others simply feel bored and lonely overseas and seek excitement. One person once shared an experience, thinking he was lucky to date a beautiful and sweet Chinese student, but later he discovered that his girlfriend was actually a hostess, and one of her clients was his own uncle. The situation played out like a movie, but it happened in real life. Some low-quality individuals like to label themselves as patriotic, while engaging in unethical or even illegal activities. On December 18, 2024, a video of a Chinese student causing a scene in a Japanese classroom went viral in Chinese-speaking circles. The footage shows a male Chinese student in a yellow shirt refusing to participate in class and insulting a female Japanese teacher. A Chinese female student sitting nearby quietly told him, "Don't curse at people," but he became even more aggressive, kicking over a desk. The loud crash startled other students, who turned to look. Another Chinese student, who wanted to attend the class, shouted at him, "You're being too loud. Are we having class or not?" The two started arguing. When the Japanese teacher tried to calm the situation, she was met with rude verbal attacks. The comment section was filled with criticism. Some pointed out that he acted so arrogantly just because the teacher didn't understand Chinese, showing a complete lack of basic respect. Others believed that many Chinese students abroad are spoiled rich kids who lack cultural refinement. However, some defended them, saying that most students don't have the money to study abroad and that a few bad examples shouldn't be used to generalize all Chinese students. In recent years, the image of Chinese students abroad has suffered. Some have been caught skipping rent and abandoning apartments, leaving them in a terrible condition. As a result, landlords now require extensive paperwork when renting to Chinese tenants, or they outright refuse to rent to them. Some believe that because of these irresponsible individuals, Chinese people as a whole have a harder time finding housing abroad. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party has been accused by multiple countries of setting up overseas police stations to extend its surveillance and suppression operations beyond China's borders. These actions, seen as blatant long-arm jurisdiction, have sparked strong opposition from various governments. On the afternoon of December 17, 2024, a Chinese student armed with a model gun stormed into a Japanese police station and vandalized property. After being arrested, he claimed that he was coerced by Shanghai police into committing the crime. According to Japan's Kobe News, the 22-year-old student entered the Ninomiya police station in Kobe, carrying a 75mm long replica machine gun. He smashed a window before the on-duty officers rushed inside to call for backup. The students then fled the scene. Later, after revealing surveillance footage, Japanese police arrested him on the same day. He admitted to the crime and revealed that Chinese police called him, saying that the police station's computer stored information on criminals. They ordered him to steal the data for them, or they would arrest him and his family. Many netizens voiced concern over this case, warning that China's cross-border threats and attempts to manipulate Chinese citizens into harming Japanese society should not be ignored. This incident has also raised alarms in Japan. If a conflict were to break out between China and Japan, how many Chinese nationals in Japan would be coerced by the CCP to carry out sabotage? And, as this case shows, some might actually comply. Recently, news broke out that Liu Lijun, a Chinese student at the University of California, Los Angeles, had her visa revoked and was deported after participating in a protest. This has caused a major stir among international students in the U.S. Liu has been arrested, and her legal team is working on an appeal. However, many believe that the Trump administration is taking a firm stance, and she could be among the first students to be expelled under these policies. According to social media reports, Liu Lijun was detained during a protest related to the Israel-Hamas conflict while studying at UCLA. Footage shared on X from May 2024 and originally aired by Fox News show police arresting pro-Palestinian students occupying the UCLA campus. The video captures an Asian woman having her headscarf and mask removed before she smiles at the officers as they take her into custody. That woman was identified as Liu Lijun. Reports indicate that Liu had previously organized pro-Hamas rallies at UCLA. She's from Tongchuan, Shanxi, and previously studied at Renmin University of China. After graduating, she moved to the U.S. for further studies. She's a member of the Chinese Communist Party and currently pursuing a PhD in robotics at UCLA. Her parents are billionaires who own multiple luxury homes in Silicon Valley. After her arrest, Liu claimed that she was not part of any protest. She said she was simply passing by when a clash broke out between demonstrators and the police, which led to her arrest. Chinese media have given significant coverage to pro-Hamas protests on U.S. campuses. On April 29, 2024, Xiake Dao, a platform affiliated with the overseas edition of People's Daily, released a video arguing that American students were protesting because they were fed up with what they saw as U.S. hypocrisy. On social media, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Chunying also defended the protests, stating, "Let's be clear, calling for a ceasefire and an end to killing is not the same as anti-Semitism. Every life is equally valuable, whether Israeli or Palestinian." Some netizens suspect that Liu Lijun was used by the CCP. They argued that if the Chinese government can support overseas activist groups from behind the scene, it can also direct young Chinese nationalists in the U.S. to stir up trouble. During the Biden administration, these individuals still had some room to maneuver, but with Trump in power and taking a hard stance against both the U.S. deep state and the CCP, their situation has become increasingly difficult. On January 30th, Trump signed an executive order canceling the visas of all international students who had publicly expressed support for Hamas. There have been previous cases where international students faced visa revocation, deportation, or even criminal charges due to political involvement. For example, during Trump's election campaign last year, a Chinese student at the University of Michigan was reportedly charged after attempting to vote, an incident that many students still remember. Reports indicate that a 19-year-old Chinese student was charged with perjury and attempting to vote unlawfully in the U.S. election. Since only U.S. citizens are allowed to vote in federal elections, the latter charge carries a maximum penalty of 4 years in prison and a $2,000 fine. These incidents highlight the risks of international students getting involved in political matters while studying abroad. First, being in a foreign country, they often lack a deep understanding of its political system and cultural background, which can lead to misjudgments and mistakes. Political affiliations are sensitive subjects that can indirectly affect their studies and daily life. If controversy arises, it may cause unnecessary trouble, impacting both their education and future career. The landscape of international students today is vastly different from 2 decades ago. Increasingly, reports of misconduct among students studying abroad have surfaced. Many struggle academically, lack basic language proficiency, engage in exam cheating, or rely on essay writing services. Cases of academic fraud continue to emerge. Recently, news broke out that a Zhejiang University student who received the prestigious Kexin scholarship was expelled from MIT for academic fraud. According to reports, this student published nearly 10 research papers within a year of working in the lab, which raised suspicions from her advisor. As an expert in the field, the advisor reviewed her work and uncovered data fabrication. She had fabricated interview responses, falsified both qualitative and quantitative research data, and as a result, multiple papers were retracted. The case was publicly reported across the institution, and MIT ultimately expelled her. This scandal caused a major uproar in the human-computer interaction field. When confronted, the student blamed her undergraduate education, claiming she had always collected data this way without any prior issues. This statement not only confirmed her academic misconduct, but also raised questions at MIT about the ethical standards in China's higher education system. According to sources, the student was a recipient of Zhejiang University's highest honor, the Kexin scholarship. Her actions are expected to significantly reduce the chances of Zhejiang University students being accepted to MIT in the future, and could even make it harder for Chinese students in general to gain admission to Western universities. The Kexin scholarship is a prestigious award at the Zhejiang University with extremely strict selection criteria. Reports indicate that the student studied industrial design at the School of Computer Science. She graduated in 2018 and received the scholarship in 2021. Last October, Cardiff Metropolitan University in the UK expelled 50 Chinese students after discovering they had cheated on their language proficiency test. This incident reignited discussions on academic integrity. Additionally, another case of academic fraud recently surfaced at New York University. A netizen recently revealed that a Chinese student spent 150,000 yuan to purchase a fake transcript from a high school in China, attempting to use it to apply to NYU. However, during the application review, admissions officers noticed that while the student was physically in New York, the transcript was sent from China. When questioned further, the student struggled to provide clear answers. As a result, the high school in question was blacklisted from NYU's admissions process. These repeated fraud cases have not only damaged the academic reputation of Chinese students, but have also deepened the mistrust of university admissions officers towards applicants from mainland China. Recently, Macau University of Science and Technology announced it would close its admission channel for mainland Chinese international students, meaning that students who do not take China's National College Entrance Exam, Gaokao, will no longer be eligible to apply for undergraduate programs. Starting from the 2025-2026 academic year, the university will no longer recognize international credentials from mainland Chinese students. Meanwhile, concerns over the increasing number of Chinese students at the University of Tokyo have caught the attention of Japan's national security officers. In January 2025, Shinchosa, a Japanese media outlet, reported that the University of Tokyo's graduate school has around 15,000 students, with approximately 5,200 being international students, of whom 3,500 are from China. This has turned the university into a popular choice for Chinese students looking for a fresh academic start or degree upgrade. A faculty member at the university noted, the number of international students surpassed 2,000 around the year 2000 and began rising rapidly after 2010. Since the mid-2010s, the increase has been exponential. And by November 2024, the number exceeded 5,200. In terms of nationality, Chinese students dominate. 2 out of every 3 international students at the university are from China. In contrast, the second largest group, South Korean students, makes up only about 7% of the total, while Chinese students account for an overwhelming 68%. Experts have pointed out that Waseda University, another prestigious institution in Japan, has a similar trend, with approximately 3,300 Chinese students enrolled. Tokyo University honorary professor Masayuki Yamauchi has expressed concerns about the rapid influx of Chinese students. The University of Tokyo is Japan's leading research institution, and some of its work is linked to national security. Given Japan's security concerns in the region, the sharp increase in Chinese students at the university raises serious potential risks. He further warned, in the 2024 fiscal year, the University of Tokyo received approximately 80 billion yen in state funding, which comes from Japanese taxpayers. To put it bluntly, Japan's resources are continuously being taken by students from a specific country. Given that China is a military power and a potential threat to Japan, allowing unrestricted enrollment of Chinese students would pose a risk to national security.